We're so excited that you're joining us today. I'm going to let everyone start to trickle in and give it about 5 minutes before we get started. Just for anyone that doesn't know, my name is Adriana Sutliff. I am the product marketing lead at Planoly, and we have Lucy here with us from Pinterest. And we are super excited to chat with you guys today about getting to know Pinterest. All right. I see Allison, Becca, Phil, Brooke. We're so excited you guys are here. Drop in the chat and let us know where you're visiting from or where you're tuning in from. Cabo, Mexico, Berlin, Toronto, New York City, Miami, California. Wow, lots of New Yorkers in here. That's awesome. Cool, I'll give it about 2 more minutes to get you guys all settled in, and then we'll get started. Oh, Austin, South Africa. So fun. Delaware, Maine. So cool. Give it about 1 more minute. I see LA and Honolulu also. Hi, Kathy, Casey, Camille. Hi, everyone. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. For everyone that is on right now and continuing to join, we're so excited for today's webinar. We have a special guest, Lucy from Pinterest, here with us today, and she's going to dive into everything and anything that you need to know about Pinterest and how to get started on the platform. Lucy and I will both be discussing some best practices to help you get started on your Pinterest journey, how you can use it to amplify your brand, your business, and then additional Pinterest resources that you can utilize along your journey. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to turn off my camera.
Great, wonderful. Thank you for that intro, Adriana. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and for taking an interest in learning more about Pinterest. Just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Lucy and I am part of the Pinterest Partners team here at Pinterest. So I have been with Pinterest for just over a year now. And even before joining Pinterest, I was always an avid pinner. And here's just a selection of my most recent pins. And as you can tell, I'm a little bit basic. I love fashion, food, dogs, and inspirational quotes. And I encourage you all, if you haven't already, to download Pinterest and get pinning to truly understand our product and how it can benefit your brand, your business, and your daily life. So here's the agenda for today. So my overall goal is to really clearly position Pinterest, how to get started on the platform, and how you, whether you're a public figure, a freelancer, or a small business, can find success on Pinterest. And to kick things off, Why should you think of Pinterest in your social strategy? And more to the point, what is Pinterest? So Pinterest at its core is a visual discovery engine. It is where you find and do what you love. And our mission is actually not to keep you glued to your screen, but rather quite the opposite. We want to bring you the inspiration to create a life you love. And what we have found that is when pinners use Pinterest, they feel especially positive and optimistic. Pinterest also enables an open mindset that's increasingly rare nowadays. When you think of most shopping experiences, it's all about the speed of the transaction and delivering to the user what you already know you want. But with Pinterest, there is this magic of discovery. Even when users are searching for something, we found that 97% of searches on Pinterest are unbranded. People come when they haven't made up their mind about what they're looking for. And of course, when you're feeling optimistic and open to these new ideas, this really creates a mindset that's ready and willing to try new things. And it's creators like you that make this possible. You make Pinterest Pinterest. Your content is essential to our platform and the pinners experience. We're building a product for creators so you can publish content, grow your audience, get feedback from pinners, and inspire our over 367 million monthly active users to do, try, and buy. And every month, these 367 million people globally come to Pinterest searching for new ideas to try in real life. From what to cook for dinner, where they should go on their next trip. People use Pinterest to get inspired and to act. And it's creators like you who are helping these people take that inspiration and turn it into reality by creating the pins that spark action. So that was like an overview of Pinterest. I hope that was helpful. But how do you actually get started on Pinterest? Spoiler alert, it's really, really easy, but there are a few tips and tricks I can provide to help you get set up for success. So first and foremost, you need to create an account. And please make sure it's a business account. It's free. And if you currently have a personal account, you can seamlessly convert this to a business account to save you starting over. But why have a business account? So business accounts offer you control over how your content appears on Pinterest, gives you analytics for your pins so you can gauge progress, and access to features like video, protected board, and pin code features. And we've recently invested in business profiles to make them more customizable so creators can make sure that your brand or business is more accurately represented on the platform. You can edit your cover photo to even include video here. And we now have featured boards that allow you to showcase your newest product offerings or pins. We've also added a shop tab for you to highlight what products you have available for purchase. It's really important to include your name or business name and a short bio so pinners know who you are and what you have to offer to really make your brand clear. So once you have that set up, make sure you update your settings to ensure pinners and Pinterest can better understand your business and discover your profile. It's important to note that what appears on your profile determines how pinners will discover you and your content. This is also a good time to update your notification preferences so you're sure to get the latest news and tips from Pinterest directly. And then Finally, make sure you claim your website and other accounts like Instagram, YouTube, and Etsy. Why? This ensures your profile picture appears next to any pin that comes from your claimed accounts to ensure that you get the attribution you deserve on your content. Once you have your business profile set up, you can start creating your first pins and organizing them into boards. So before talking about some best practices, I really wanted to touch on how Pinterest actually works to give you that context. Pinterest is a unique platform, so it's important to understand some of the basics and how Pinterest works to help you succeed here. As I mentioned before, Pinterest is the visual discovery engine. People discover ideas visually on Pinterest. Over 367 million people around the world come to Pinterest each month to be inspired and discover the best ideas about what to wear, what to cook, how to decorate their homes, and more. And Pinterest connects people with your content in highly personalized ways. We hear from our pinners that content in their home feed feels handpicked for them and that Pinterest knows them better than they know themselves. Sometimes people find and save new ideas on Pinterest that they weren't even looking for when they started browsing. This makes Pinterest a great way to reach new audiences who could be open to your ideas. And to ensure we surface only the most relevant, valuable, and inspiring pins to our users, Pinterest indexes information about billions of pins, using these signals to help determine how and where pins are seen on the platform. And everything about the pin is an important piece of information. It's not just the image, it's the copy as well. And by copy, I mean the titles and the descriptions of the pin. The link is important, and even the board that the pin was saved to gives Pinterest signals about how and where to surface that particular pin. This means it is especially important that creators are thoughtful about the images they choose, how they write their titles and descriptions, the quality of your links, and how to organize your boards. And I'll be providing a little bit more information on this a little bit later. And then let's talk about where your pins show up. So your pins are surfaced to users across 4 main surfaces on the platform. We have the home feed, search, related pins, and the following tab. And just to delve into those in a bit more detail. So starting with the home feed, this is one of the top ways people discover content on Pinterest. It's where people find pins, people, and brands we think they'll love, all based on their recent activity. We also show pins from people, topics, and boards pinners choose to follow. Next, we have search. People search on Pinterest to discover new ideas based on their intent. So for example, a pinner may want to cook a new dish they've never looked at before, or maybe pick up a new hobby. Pinners will usually search for a topic, creators, or brands. Searching is also used a lot for finding timely ideas like seasonal holidays or life events. Think of looking for birthday party ideas or where to travel next, when we can actually travel next. And then we have related pins. Related pins help pinners explore different riffs of the same idea. So when you find a great pin about chocolate chip cookies, for example, then the related pins might help you find similar chocolate chip cookies or other relatable recipes like oatmeal or ginger snaps or sugar cookies. With related pins, the pinners are exploring by browsing images of each pin, going from one pin to another. Then finally, we have the following tab. This is a place where pinners go to see and engage with published content from creators that they actually follow on the platform. The following tab is also a place where people discover new content creators based on their personal interests and tastes. And every day, people are engaging with content across the surfaces on Pinterest. And the more they engage, the more your content is surfaced. This is what we like to call the Pinterest amplification effect. And sometimes people are looking for an immediate need on Pinterest, like daily dinner inspiration. And at other times, they are planning for a bigger event or transformation, like a wedding or house renovation. This is one of the reasons that content on Pinterest sees a long tail of engagement. You'll see people interacting with your pins months after you've already published them. Continue to drive attention and engagement for your business. So investing in regularly creating valuable, relevant content that helps pinners improve their lives is the best way to take advantage of this type of evergreen engagement. So I've covered Pinterest positioning, why you should be thinking of Pinterest, how to get started on Pinterest, and how Pinterest actually works. But how do you find success on the platform? So you can find success on Pinterest by focusing on the following 3 practices: creating fresh pins, optimizing for discovery, and building an audience. So let's dive into those in a little bit more detail. So we really want to provide our users with the best content available. We advise creators to focus on publishing fresh pins on the platform regularly to really help grow their audience. But what is a fresh pin? A fresh pin is a new image published to Pinterest. If you're updating images on old pins, please also take the opportunity to refresh your titles, descriptions, and links to help provide pinners with the best possible experience. Providing value to pinners is the best way to improve your performance over time. One question I get asked more than any other question is, how often should I be creating pins? And I'm sorry to say there really isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. We do, however, recommend creating new content at the very least once a week to keep your profile fresh and supply your followers with new content and then build from there. The cadence is obviously going to vary from creator to different business types, but creating frequently is a lot more impactful than publishing a flurry of pins all at once. So next, you really want to optimize your content for discovery. Pinterest was built to surface the right ideas to the right people at the right moment based on their previous behavior and search interests. By connecting pinners to the pins they'll love, Pinterest creates a curated and highly personalized experience for users on the platform. And to ensure we surface only the most relevant, valuable, and inspiring pins, Pinterest indexes information about billions of pins, using these signals to help determine how and where pins are seen on the platform. This means it's especially important that creators are thoughtful about the images they choose, how they write their titles and descriptions, the quality of your links, and how you organize your boards. And there was a question that came in around the use of hashtags. So hashtags are optional on Pinterest, but definitely not best practice. It's more impactful to focus on making your titles and descriptions rich and user-friendly rather than trying to add in multiple hashtags. And on that note, I will dive into how to create a good title and description and best practices for each here. So for titles, you want to make sure to include a simple, compelling headline to provide context on your pin. And make sure to only use up to 100 characters. And by simple, compelling, and providing context, a title like Easy No-Bake Dinners is way more informative than just naming your pin food. You also want to make sure you avoid using symbols or spaces, unnecessary spaces in your title, as this can actually negatively impact distribution. For your descriptions, you can use up to 500 characters, but we really recommend prioritizing what's important to get across first, because actually the first 50 to 60 characters are most likely to show up in people's feeds. Make sure that the pin description relates to the title and the pin image. And finally, make sure the description copy is more important than just what the pinner sees. It informs relevancy and determines where content appears. Make sure you include important keywords and brand names in this field where applicable. And then also don't forget about your board descriptions. These actually help the pins saved to that board appear to relevant audiences. Board descriptions can sometimes be forgotten, but they are just as important. So be sure to thoughtfully describe your boards as well. And then looking at organizing your boards. Boards help you organize pins by category, purpose, or audience. Board names, descriptions, and categories all impact how your content shows up in Pinterest search results. Use clear descriptive language in your board titles and description. Use boards to showcase your pins. Boards let people organize all of their pins around different ideas, interests, and plans. They also make it easier for pinners to engage with content and save it for later. Ensure you categorize and describe your boards to increase relevancy and improve SEO. Your board titles, descriptions, and categories influence how the pins on that board are surfaced across all other Pinterest services, like home feed, search, and related pins, as we discussed earlier. Categorizing your boards helps Pinterest with SEO. And then finally, make sure you keep your boards updated and refreshed. If you need to archive your board, that's totally fine, and it doesn't decrease your follower count. Archive boards are just essentially hidden on your profile, but anyone following them can still find them through the list of boards in their following tab or directly through the board URL. And then let's talk about building an audience. The best way to grow your following on Pinterest is to create fresh, inspiring content every week. But there are some other tips that can really help you grow your following. So kind of going back to what we've already discussed, making sure you optimize your settings, claim your domain, ensure that your follow button appears on all of your pins saved to your Pinterest from your site. Make sure to link your other accounts. So obviously you want to link if you have a website or blog, that's what I mean by claim your domain. And your other accounts, I'm referring to Etsy, Instagram, and YouTube. So make sure to link those accounts to your profile if you have accounts there, to unlock attribution and a more clear picture of your engagement on Pinterest. And then keep your profile fresh and updated. Make sure the content you highlight there represents your brand now and is inspirational so you can get pinners to follow you. And as I've said 1,000 times, create fresh pins. So keep your followers happy with a steady stream of inspiring pins delivered to them via the following tab. Always provide value and follow our creative best practices to ensure your content will be compelling and inspire pinners to follow you more. And you can keep up with creative best practices through Planoly. And then really get to know your audience. Know your followers and create with them in mind. With a business account, you can get access to Audience Insights dashboard, and I can make sure to send this link out afterwards. This gives you a better glimpse at what your audience is interested in based on their behavior on Pinterest. For example, if you notice your content is popular with new mums, you can then create pins geared towards this audience directly using keywords, interests, and demographics. And then look for new audiences, make new pins in new verticals, try capitalizing on rising trends or using new keywords in your descriptions to break into different verticals and get exposure to new audiences. And then finally, don't be shy about promoting your account. Encourage your followers on other platforms to also follow you on Pinterest as well. Link your other sites to Pinterest to encourage cross-engagement and add the follow button to your website so people can follow you with one single click. And then finally, just to touch on video pins here. So obviously, in addition to static pins, video pins are a great format to tell a more comprehensive story about your brand, idea, or project. And Planoly has actually recently built video publishing to Pinterest within their platform, so you can seamlessly schedule your video content to Pinterest. So now that I've shared some information on how to get started on Pinterest, let's get to know Adriana and her personal story and experience on her Pinterest journey.
Thank you so much for that intro, Lucy, and for sharing all of those incredible insights and great tips on Pinterest, especially for someone that is just getting started. I think that's such incredible and valuable information. And as Lucy said, my name is Adriana, and I, apart from working on the product marketing team for Planoly, have also been running my own life and style website called Leopard Martini that I've been doing since 2011. I essentially started it as a creative outlet to share with others. And since then, I've been able to work with so many incredible brands like Diane von Furstenberg, Jo Malone, Rebecca Taylor, and Shopbop, to name a few. And it's been an awesome journey. So I wanted to share you guys a little bit of what I do on Pinterest.
Amazing. So Adriana, I'd love to know, how did you begin your journey on Pinterest and what really prompted you to do so?
Yeah, so I have always loved using Pinterest. It's actually my absolute favorite platform. I'm always on Pinterest gathering inspiration, whether it's for my website or whether it's for personal reasons. My husband Nathan and I love to cook at home, and we love creating fun dinners or like cocktails. I also love going to Pinterest for organizational tips and fun hacks. So it essentially has always been a kind of internet escape for me. And it's like my happy place when I'm gathering inspiration. And I try to spend time on Pinterest daily so that I can stay inspired and then also continue creating inspiring and fresh content for my followers. I've had a lot of fun reorganizing all of my boards as well, just so that I can keep things fresh and easy for them to find. And I made a point to claim my domain too, which is what Lucy mentioned, especially for your content to better surface on the platform.
Love it. I love to hear that you're following all our best practices and that Pinterest is your favorite platform. I never tire of hearing that. So what significant ways have you grown your brand since using Pinterest?
So I've really increased my website traffic through Pinterest. The more active I am, the more engaged my followers are. So the more fresh content that I'm sharing, the more my pins are surfacing and reaching larger audiences that also have the same interests as I do. So that's been really great to see. And actually, a lot of the partnerships and campaigns that I work on with brands have required me to include Pinterest content to help amplify that partnership in order to help boost traffic and engagement through that campaign. So that's been really amazing as well. And I really strongly rely on Pinterest insights to help get me through within my business account. For me, it's really important for me to look at the ways in which my content is performing, what my followers are engaging with the most, what they're really loving to see. And that helps me kind of cater what I'm creating to them and then strategize for future content. And just a quick note, you can also view all of your insights on our Planoly Pin Planner. It's been like such a saving grace for me when it comes to Pinterest too, which I'll talk more about in a little bit.
Yeah, Pin Planner is great, and it's definitely good to keep an eye on how your content is performing and then create content based on sort of what's been performing best for you. So what additional benefits have you attained from using Pinterest for your brand?
So as my reach on Pinterest continued to grow, I was able to bring on additional partnerships and work with amazing brands. In the past year, I've worked with Wink Wine and Frost Bank. I've also worked with a few New York companies that I really love, along with Jergens and a few other brands. So that's been really great, just to build that platform and further the collaborations that I work on. I've also learned that Pinterest is a huge way to strategize and amplify on campaign content and future campaigns. I love just gathering additional insight and inspiration on the platform. And it's also a great way to engage with other pinners in the community on collaborative efforts and then also cross engagement, which has been really fun.
Amazing. Those are great brands you've been working with. Congrats.
Thank you.
So what's some of the resources that you've been using to help you with your Pinterest strategy?
Yeah, so since we launched our pin planner last year, I have been using that daily when it comes to planning out all of my Pinterest content. It's really amazing to help me kind of gain a snapshot and a view of everything that I have coming up for the weeks and the months ahead. And I've been able to kind of restructure things based on if a new partnership comes up or a new campaign, I can just switch things around. I also utilize our pin planner to look into analytics and how my pins are performing so that I can kind of restructure or re-strategize the content that I'm sharing with my followers in case I want to add something new or seasonal or anything else that's fun and fresh. I also really love Pinterest Academy. There are so many incredible helpful tips on there too that we can share with you guys. And again, with my business Pinterest account, I'm constantly on there as well, looking into insights and just gaining more info on how I can better structure and strategize my content for my followers.
Amazing. I love that you called out Pinterest Academy there. Just so everybody knows, this is completely free. You can go to Pinterest Academy and sign up and just take short courses on Pinterest best practices. They can be normally around 10 minutes long, so really easy to fit into your everyday life, and just provide some great tips and tricks on how to find success on Pinterest.
Yeah, it's been such an amazing resource. So I definitely recommend you guys checking that out as well. So I am going to stop sharing my screen and turn my video back on for you guys. I hope you enjoyed all of these tips today. Thank you so much, Lucy, for providing all that amazing information for us. I feel like that just helps us really get a better understanding of Pinterest and the platform. And that is pretty much it for today's webinar. I hope that you guys enjoyed tuning in. Thank you so much to all our users that tuned in. I hope this helps you better understand how to get started with Pinterest and build it for your brand. If you want any additional insight, we share a lot of great resources and blog posts on our Planoly blog. And then we also have a lot of additional information about our pin planner in case you want to get started on there and scheduling your pins. And you can also reach out with any questions that you have to support@planoly.com, and we can help you with anything that you're curious about. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.